And of course, some big no-nos for me is if there's dog poop everywhere, if there's pee on the ground, if it smells funky. Hey y'all, it's Kathy, long time no talk. Ever since my last video, I've had some interesting life changes. One of it is starting a career in property management and leaving after 2 years. I really enjoyed it, but I don't miss the hours. So what I can do is at least share some of the knowledge that I've gotten along the way. I want to first acknowledge that not everyone has this privilege of moving wherever they like. I know with this year it's unusual. Some people are losing their jobs, getting evicted, other things. So this might not apply to them, and I do want to be sensitive to those folks who've suffered through this year. But for the folks who are looking to move, I want to present to you some helpful tips that can guide you along in this really stressful process. So the first question is, how much can I afford? Well, it depends on your monthly income and whether you're pairing up with a roommate or partner or whether you're going on it alone, because things add up really quickly. You don't want to spend more than 1/3 of your take home of every month. The reason being is you want to give yourself some buffer. Just in case of an emergency, you have enough to take care of yourself the next month. Yes, there's rent, but it only starts there as a base price. Rent is the minimum you'll spend per month. On top of it, you're going to be paying for utilities such as electricity, water, gas. Depends on whether your apartment management company or landlord also pays for it. Second is, many places here in LA do charge for parking, easily like 50 to 100 to 200 bucks a month. Third, if you have a pet, you may pay extra for that. If you have an emotional support animal, you might not. And just like living expenses like food, so on. So if you don't have established credit or rental history, you may have to pay extra for a security deposit. Security deposits usually range from 1 month to 2 months. It could be up to 3 months in California if you're renting a furnished room or apartment. So those are some things to keep in mind about cost. Also, you want to think about location. Location is very much tied to the reason you're moving. Are you moving because you need more space and you're upgrading, now you want a 2-bedroom? I see a lot of people moving because they are looking to shorten their commute from work. Say, for example, you're working all the way in Santa Monica, but you're living in Alhambra in the SGV, super far away. Maybe you want to meet halfway in Koreatown, or you want to go in Culver City, which is slightly closer but more affordable than Santa Monica or Mar Vista. There's so many options to live here in LA, seeing it's such a big city and county. It's really hard to decide on the right place. So you have to figure out why you're moving. Another reason why I see people moving is maybe they're college students or they have kids in school. Being close to your school can make education so much easier, not having to worry about commuting. You're able to stay on campus longer, do after school activities. And awkwardly, a lot of people also ask me about safety in figuring out location. The funny part is working in property management as well as lived experience. Even if you're living in Beverly Hills, it may be safer, quote unquote, with less violent crimes, but it doesn't really guarantee that you'll be safe from any sort of crime because crime doesn't have a zip code. I know it sounds so silly, but really things such as package theft, things such as like harassment down the street can really happen anywhere. If you go on LA Times, you can see the crime tracker there and do your own research. You can also go on web forums about your local city to make sure that the neighbors feel safe there. But you may end up also scaring yourself. You'll also hear the worst of the worst on Yelp, because how often do people leave great reviews for the apartments? It's more often that they're upset about something. What I want you to get away from this is do your research about where you want to live and the reasons why. I also want you to think about whether you are a person who needs plentiful parking. Maybe you're up in the suburbs and that's a better place for you because there's more street parking. Maybe you take public transportation and you want to live near the red line, the gold line, so on. If you fell in love with a neighborhood but you can't quite afford it, you can also consider adjacent areas. For example, I know a lot of people wanted to live downtown pre-COVID because it was hustling, bustling, so many things to do when you go out, food, arts, activities, but downtown prices can be super high, especially with all the luxury apartments coming up. So a good compromise is maybe considering other neighborhoods around it, such as Little Tokyo, close by with their plentiful supermarkets, or even Chinatown, which is right next to Union Station. Chinatown has a great park nearby it. It's close enough and it's pretty quiet at night. So options there, man. So many options. So say you've done your research and you found maybe 4 or 5 places you want to check out in person. You've checked the Yelp reviews, you've seen the apartment.com reviews, and now you want to schedule a visit. Cool. So this is the most important part. Visiting for yourself, or at least virtually nowadays, and just sort of determining the upkeep of everything. When you notice the little details of how a property management company or landlord takes care of their property, you'll kind of understand how they treat their tenants. Because of course, at first, everything seems pleasant. They want you to rent. They want your money. But you want to know that you can ask them for help and that there's going to be a good relationship moving forward. So you can notice small things such as the maintenance of their property. If there are amenities such as gym access, the pool, laundry room, please take a look at the level of cleanliness there, because if they are able to keep it clean for regular residents and not just for you to visit, it's worth noting that they go the extra mile to take care of their investment or their property. You also want to notice how they treat you on the phone or via email. Are the property managers and their associates friendly to you? Are they courteous? Are they professional? Do they get back to you on time? Because one thing that I personally value is having a relationship where someone says that they're going to email me by this time and date, be very proactive, and keep their word. And of course, some big no-nos for me is if there's dog poop everywhere, if there's pee on the ground, if it smells funky, if there are flies everywhere. Take a look of how they handle trash too, because this is where you're going to be living. Is there trash on the street? Are things properly disposed? Is there furniture left over? If there's a lot of furniture, it could be that there's a high turnover for some reason. Maybe there's a pest infestation. You want to be honest with them and ask them. Check out the plants too. A big no-no for me is plants dying, because if they're not able to maintain the plants, they don't really care about the details. They don't care about things looking nice, and they don't care about living beings, because plants are living beings just like humans too. If it's possible, try to test out if your phone is going to work in your apartment too. Just go inside the unit, take out your phone, see how many bars you get. You may have to switch providers if you're not getting any service there, and that will be a huge headache. You can also ask about Wi-Fi as well. What options do they have there? Do you have to pay the apartment directly for internet, or are you able to set up your own account? Those things will determine how you can work from home. Those things will determine how easily you can watch TV, stream things. Here's a tip I also want to give you. If you're looking to live in a place more than a year, do not fall for the deals, okay? Because long term, if you're looking to stay at a place more than a year, it may screw you over if you're just going to go with the apartment that gives you 2 months off if you move in the next 30 days, because the year after, rent increases will go up. The year after, there may be fees that you didn't get before. The year after, you may be paying for stuff that you never paid before, such as parking, added gates, facilities. So don't look for the deals. Look for the long-term relationship you may have with your property management company. Do they treat you well? Are they responsive? Do you trust them? At the end of the day, it is a business transaction. You're paying them rent. You want to make sure they deliver the goods. They want to give you quality service. You're not just there to save $500. You want the $500 that you'll be spending to be going to a company that you trust and people that you trust. I also want to mention that before you start to move, you can also lower the amount of stress you have by preparing. This means making sure you remember where your past rentals are, because sometimes they ask about rental history. They may ask for a credit or background check, so be prepared for that. Getting your identification documents, usually it's a passport, driver's license, social security, some of those things, just to make sure that you're a real person. Also, last but not least, how you're gonna pack, what you're gonna keep, what you're gonna bring along, and your timeline. Those are some things to keep in mind. I hope this was useful. I hope you're able to find your right apartment home. If this is something that you'd like to see more of or ask questions about, feel free to leave comments below. I'll try to answer what I can. I'm not able to give any legal advice, so that's just a warning there. But I'm happy to recommend you some great apartment homes. Until I talk to you guys next time, feel free to just comment below, tell me what you think. Maybe there's other parts of apartment renting or moving you want tips on. When you're looking for a home, it can be entirely stressful, but it's so satisfying once you have all your boxes in, you found the right place, and you're able to start off with blank canvas, decorating everything again. So I really hope everyone finds the right home. Have a great day.